Okay, so I'm going to take you through the process of starting research for your project. Um, so I'm assuming now that you've made a choice of title in the form of a question, and you can see here I've chosen a slightly unusual title: Should All Children Study Philosophy? Now, one of the key things when you're doing your project is that you really want to write it up as you go. Don't spend weeks and weeks just reading. Actually start writing pretty much from the start. And I'm going to show you how you can do that. So there's some guidance here about things like the numbers of sources you should have, how you should reference it. Have a look at that, but then delete that so it's not going to get in the way of your project. So the first thing you're going to need to do is to plan the areas that you're going to look at. So do a little bit of research, find out a little bit about your topic, and then pick 3 or 4 headings that you can use to organize your research. So, for example, on my project, I might have something like the benefits of studying philosophy. I might have something about arguments against introducing philosophy. And I might have something on programs for children that use philosophy. And maybe I might have some interviews or surveys that I've done. So I'll have that as another heading. The reason it's a good idea to have some headings like that is it just means that you can write your work up as you go, and instead of just ending up with page after page of notes, you've got a structure and an organization to it. So these, by the way, if you pick these headings up, you can actually stylize them using the headings tool there. And I'm making these heading 2 because I've already got heading 1 as the main heading for research. So I'm going to make all of these heading 2s. And if you go back up, you notice that there was already a contents page at the start of the project up here. If I go back to that now, I can refresh that, and you'll see it's starting to pick up my headings. So it's all nicely organized. So that gives us a plan for research. What if I was going to do a project in the form of a video or a presentation, a podcast or something like that? Well, in that case, as well as doing the research into my topic, I've got to do technical research. So I'm going to include if I'm doing that kind of a project, I'm going to include a title like how to make a documentary film. And there I would include some research on techniques, processes. There's lots of websites that will give you guidance on how to make a good film, how to use editing software, that kind of thing. So you need to do some practical research. And the other thing that you'll need if you're doing a film or a presentation is you'll probably need to include some examples of other films, or maybe you watch some students presenting on YouTube just to see what you can learn from their examples, to see what you can pick from the way they've done it. So include some practical research. Now you might be thinking, well, look, that makes it more work for me if I've got to research all the topics and also how to do all of the techniques and the processes and so on. Haven't I got to do even more work than people who are just writing their report up? But I would say if you're doing a film or if you're going to be doing a presentation, probably you won't spend quite as much time turning your notes into a really neat essay. So it'll be quite okay if your research is more in sort of note form and you spend more time actually practically learning how to make a good film. But don't forget that you still do need to look at things like the arguments for and against, because what makes a good presentation or a good film is having a really good idea. So you do need to research and don't just jump in and start trying to make your film. You actually need to do some research to find out about your topic, but don't worry about making it all look really smart. If you're doing a film or a presentation, use this more like as a working document to record your notes and your thoughts, because your focus is going to be on the actual making a really good show at the end of it.